Well, where's my avatar? Where am I? There we go. Um, hello. How's it going? Are we alive? Um, other relevant questions pending. Um, high fringe. I haven't done this in a while, so let's. I'll be honest, it's gonna be awkward for a second until I remember how. Uh, that's also correct. Yeah. Um, yeah. To keep it short, I've been gone. For a while. Not intentionally, but it just happened. Um, it wasn't a bad busy either. Like, I'm not feeling like I had a bad time during which I was gone. Like, I was a bit stressed. And by that I mean very stressed. But I know. I'm so sorry. Um, no, but like, I've learned new skills. I've done things. I've um, done all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been busy. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Uh, but like, generally, it's just been taking care of like my application for college and stuff, taking care of my sewing class, which has been really fun, by the way. I've posted some pictures. You all probably have seen them, and if not, then they're in the Discord. So, but yeah, it's fun. I'm genuinely enjoying it, and it's like it genuinely helped just give me a new perspective on just how I'm going about things, like what I can and can't do. So that's been fun. Um, and I don't know. It was busy, but not a bad kind of busy, I guess. And I do still have stuff that like it's stressing me out right now and stuff, and like, but it's manageable. Life is good. Life is good. I think that's a fair assessment. Um, even if it is stress. How dare you attack my bot? He probably deserves it, but um. Anyways, I haven't done game dev in quite some time. Also not intentionally. It just kind of I didn't get around to it. So maybe we should rectify that. Maybe. How do I do anything here? There we go. I've been still working on the menu, but not a lot. Like I said, it's kind of been just difficult. Again, just lots of things to do. So I have only partially an idea what I'm doing right now. And sometimes that's all you need. We have a sound effect slider now. Or sound slider in general. I think that was the last thing we worked on, if I managed to capture it. There we go. And it plays sounds. That's pretty much all it does. I don't even know if it actually works, but well, I do know it works somewhat. This will take a while until my brain is where it needs to be. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not even gonna pretend like my brain is where it should be, but that's fine. We'll get back. Yeah. And I haven't looked at this code for a while, which I'm sure won't come back to bite me. How's the audio, by the way? How's the music? How's my sound? I'm trying to make sure everything is set up correctly. I take it that means good. I'll take that as good until my brain does not brain-elate. So we have been working on the audio menu, which the main idea behind it is relatively simple, right? We just have sliders that allow me to change the volume of the settings. Good. That's exactly where I want it to be. Where did I put my audio? In the audio settings, probably. Okay. So we have speaker mode, we have the bus settings, which the bus settings are volume per bus ID, and then yeah. Okay, I remember. It's so sad Steve Jobs died of Ligma. Anyways. I hope someone knows what video I'm referencing, otherwise I'm sounding like a lunatic right now. Legume. I'm already regretting this. I've done something different, like, I don't know, Pixel art or maybe some Pokemon. It would have been a sensible thing, but no, I needed to start with game dev and everything immediately escalated. Okay, so... Right. I can't believe you just murdered me. Actually, never mind. I can totally believe that. I should have taken some coffee. For the control settings. We know how the control settings are set up. Control settings are already set up. I did that. I did that a while ago, long before we did the displays settings or the audio settings or any settings. So far so good. So right. I get what you mean, yeah. Okay. I have gotten some free assets from itch. I have the license somewhere, but I don't know where right now. but that's not relevant. Those assets are controller icons. Very straightforward, nothing insane, just simple controller icons based on different controllers. And I renamed all of them, which is even more important. I renamed all of these files to match the button or axis they are. So, for example, the bottom face button is joypad button 0, the right face button is joypad button 1. Hello, Hexen. Hi, Z. How's it going? Try that again, Lich. I am tired. I'm very tired today. But I'm trying to make sense of what I did the last time I did anything. No, your vote, how's it going? I just love how Lich just flew off. That's funny. Okay. But yeah, I have these different buttons, which those are the correct buttons for what they are. At least in Godot. I have buttons 0 to 15. There are more buttons, but those are the relevant ones. I've also gotten some keyboard keys, but I might need to get different ones because I'm not sure if those do if those are what I want. But that's besides the point. They work for now. They'll work as like placeholders, and I can replace them later if I need better icons or make more or whatever. All right, enjoy your luck. Now, the idea is basically we need to structure somehow which buttons are assigned to which action. Which we can already do in code, right? We already have the code for that. What we need is blah 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 words. We need to build a UI, right? And we need to build a UI in a way that the UI doesn't know. I know that feeling, Z. I do know that feeling. I believe in you. I have empirical evidence of you. Is that what French always says? I need a break. As I was saying, we need to build a UI in a way that it doesn't need to know what the events and actions actually are. It just assigns one to the other. I mean, commas are important people. You have a filter? I mean, if anyone could do it, it's Lily. I believe in Lily's skill to turn off the computer. But yeah, a lot of this process will just be thinking about how we do this, right? What parts something is made of. So what we need. We need 4 elements. Yeah. You know what, Z? That's valid. That's very valid. I don't think I would no. Nope. 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 Very much nope. Okay. I need to clean my glasses because I can't see shit. I don't know why I need to clean my glasses because I cleaned them like yesterday, but and by the fact that most of you didn't even actually most of you do know by now because I posted a picture of myself, but I rarely mention wearing glasses on the stream. You can imagine how often I just need to randomly clean my glasses. But my brain is just not there. Are we back? I think we might be back. Try refreshing. Speaking of permanently or not permanently turning something off, my connection just dropped. Yay! I'm having a day. But it's fine. Okay. So, we need 4 pieces for this whole project. Or not this whole project, but specifically the control CI. We need a list of events, which are... Oh no, we need a list of actions from the input map. Each of those actions, which is the second part, the actual actions, need a list of events. And then the 4th part is the event, or each singular event. So that's a lot of singular pieces, but that should be manageable, right? Not... So... Let's start by making the... Let me readjust my headset real quick because it's been kind of uncomfortably sitting on my head. We need... Let's start by making the list of inputs that can just be in the audio, or not audio, in the control menu. So we attach a script. We need a script for this anyway, so control menu, which goes into source, not scenes, but scripts. I can spell, I promise. Control menu. And inherits... Sure, margin container, we can figure what it actually should inherit later. But I think the others do too, yeah. So, by the way, if you're delayed, like if you have a delay, just refresh, it should be fine. So we have this, and like the audio menu, it should probably know the, it needs to know the settings menu, because the settings menu is, well, it needs to communicate all of this at the end to the settings menu, so might as well tell it what it is. Which we can immediately do here in controls. We just assign the settings menu to the settings menu. Thank you for the hydrate. I will do that in a sec. Also, welcome in. How's it going? I'm not braining today, but we're getting there slowly. I forgot to fill up my water bottle, but I do still have something else to drink here, so it's fine. I'll just fill it up in the break. Yeah. But yeah, we need probably like the audio. We're probably going to reference a lot from the audio menu, to be honest, just because. Thank you. I think. But yeah, we need a VBox container. We already have a VBox container that makes this easier. Which is going to be on ready? On ready, yes. Again, I'm basically just stealing what I already did in the audio menu because a lot of the ideas transfer. Thanks for the hydrate. The basic idea is the same. The way we have a list of volume sliders for the different volume sliders in the audio menu, we're going to have a list of actions, which will then have each a list of their possible inputs. And ideally we assign an icon to the input based on which input it is, and hopefully that hopefully that works. I don't know how I'm going to read that yet, but yeah. I appreciate that. I try to keep it, like, keep my cadence sort of. I mean, I'm not really actively thinking about it, but like, if just thinking about it, it's just, I don't know. It's a very mix of. I don't know. I try to keep my excitement audible while also not like exploding, right? I don't know. It's. I never really think about how I explain things or how I talk, so it's actually interesting reflecting on that. I am occasionally exploiting Void Wisp, but not today. Void Lisp. But yeah, something like volume sliders. So probably just, let's just call it actions, even if it's not actions per se. Let's just call it actions for now, and we can work from there. Which is yeah, I think that's going to work well. Instead of being a volume slider, it's going to be something else, but I'm going to keep it as volume sliders with the obvious note that this needs to be something else. But the string name can stay, we just use the string name of the action. So... is action already a class? Mainly because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. spelling would help. Doesn't seem that way. That is convenient, because then I can just make a new thingamajig. The way I did the audio slider. Volume slider, I mean. So... new... let's also go with a VBox container. I don't know why I made a volume slider VBox container actually, but right, because I added a label. We'll use this as a reference because that will help, but it's a label which currently doesn't have text, but if we actually insert it into the audio menu it does, but that's not relevant for us right now. That's how it works. So, a label is probably a good idea for this one as well. So, first of all, we attach a script. We call it, let's call it Action Manager. I like that name, actually, because it describes pretty neatly what it does. We can save that scene later. Actually, I should probably just... source, scenes, Action Manager in util. So. And the way the volume slider works is basically... it just has a list of... like, it has a label, it has a slider, and then just an audio player to play the sound. We don't need all of this. In fact, we don't need a lot of this. The way we are doing it is by making the... okay. The Action Manager is going to be a list of events, basically. That's all it is. Each event that would correspond to that action. So, for example, if I want to have walking forward be W on the keyboard, but also like forward on the D-pad, I have two events that the action will be listening to, which is internally also how the input map works in the project settings. It's very much just a list of inputs for each action. And we want to do the same, but specifically we want each of the events to have an icon corresponding to what it is. I also don't know if I want to list them like this, or... but I also don't hate this. This might actually need... okay, yeah. We add a child node, which is going to be an HBox container. Because we need two things for this. We need a label, which I'll figure out how to name in a sec. And we need... so this will be called action label. Action label. And then a second child, which is going to be Just a button. Uh, might be a pop-up menu button actually, because we want to have a menu that then listens to. Yeah. Which I don't know how to do that yet, but one thing at a time. This one will get an icon later, but I don't have a good icon. Actually, do I have a good icon for it? I might have. Do I have? I guess I can use that plus, but I don't know if I want to use that plus. But it's not relevant right now, so. The whole point of that button is just to I just put the text add there for now and worry about it later. The point of this is basically just what it says on the tin. It adds another input. Then it opens a menu which reads the input and adds a new event to the list. The event can then be deleted. We'll figure that out as we go. So yeah. And the action label will just let's just call it add button. Now we're going to do the boring thing, which is just in the script. We the way we are doing it here, basically, we just make unready variables which check is this thing there, and then just add a variable for it. So on add on ready, action label HBox container action label. Not particularly, you know, sophisticated, just is that there and then just get it. I should probably actually type them as well. Not that it's super relevant, but technically I should type them for type safety. Not that type safety is a thing in this. Godot and type safety is add button, which again just hbox container dot add button. Did I capitalize that correctly? Yeah, I did. Okay. I mean, not that I particularly care, but so. So that's fine. The action label I can update on ready, the same way I do the volume slider. No, right. Right, I don't update them at all here. The way I do it is that is genuinely an important, like, that's such a important compliment. Like, I really appreciate to hear that. Like, I I genuinely try to be like approachable in that sort of sense. Like, obviously, if someone wants to fall asleep to my stream, that's fine. I would also feel honored if anyone felt comfortable to just, you know, um, relax around me and like take it easy. But if I can genuinely like teach people things and like just make them learn things and just not even just learn things, also just take in stuff I do, like the information, the way I work, like that help, like that's genuinely so. I'm genuinely honored to hear that. Like, I don't, I don't know how to put it into words, but like it that means I'm doing something right, right? I mean, that's also fair. Like again, that's also okay, right? That's if that's how you want to use my stream as a space to relax, then that's perfectly fine to me. But if it's a space where you feel you can learn, you can approach these things, that's um genuinely really great. Like, really. I don't know, there's a word I'm searching for and I'm just not finding it, but I think you know what I mean. Okay. Um, we already have the action managers, so let's make the action managers now. Uh, even though they're not done yet, that's not the point, right? They don't need to be done yet. Um, so on ready for, yeah, the way I did it here is for each in it. For each bus in the audio server, I just add a bus to the the list of audio sliders, like make a volume slider for each of them. And we're basically doing something similar here. So I'm actually going to just steal this and put this into ready, but I'm going to need to rewrite this a lot, so. Yeah. Control menu. In ready, not for I, but for action in... Yeah, you can shut up. You can shut up. I know. We're getting there. Godot, calm down. I know it looks bad. It is bad, but okay. Instead of variable slider, we do variable action manager, and we add not in audio server. We actually have for in action in input map get actions. And we only run the code if... I maybe should save the built-in action somewhere else, but... that's a later problem. I will, however, variable... I mean... That's kind of what it implies, yes. Settings dot controls. That way we have access to the control settings at all. Yeah, I know I'm not using it. I'm using it right now. If action is not in... actually, just not in. What's it called? Controls dot built-in controls. And then we indent all of this, even though we're getting rid of most of this. Not preload scenes.volume slider, scenes.action action manager. Oops. There we go. What this does is basically just load the action manager so we can instantiate it. Cat purse will do that. Oh yeah, I need to remember I have an appointment with a doctor in a week or something, because I need to check if I have a cat allergy, because if I do, I can no longer live. No, but I need to do something about that. Because I like cats. But I might be allergic to cats. My mom is, so I'm not having cats currently, but if I ever want to have cats, then it would be useful to know, right? It won't stop me, but I would like to know. So we don't need that, because what we do need action manager dot what's the label called? Action label. The text equals not audio server. We don't need the audio server, but action. Which is already a string name, so I can just leave it at that. Because the actions in the input map are actually just saved as string names, which is convenient, but there's more we will do later down the line, but for now this is fine. We'll need to add children to that action manager later, but that's a later problem. Once we actually have once we know how an event looks like. I do not have enough proof to dispute that claim, so I just believe you wholeheartedly. So that makes sense. Actually, let's just run this now. This is not gonna give us a lot yet, but I just want to see how it looks. I do like Tropical Resort. Also, hi White, how's it going? Let's just see how this works for now. It's definitely not complete or anything, but just that's promising so far. The layout is completely fucked, but that's fine. How dare you say nice things, French? Let's do White, how's it going? We need to do more Terraria later. Not necessarily today, but at some point. But yeah, this is sort of working. I'm saying sort of because, I mean, look at it. It's not... pretty is something else. But it is something we can work with. So, especially what this proves to us is that this is working. No matter how well it works, it's working to some extent. How do I UI again? Have I mentioned that I suck at this? UI is not my strong suit, and that's okay. Okay, that's not completely true. I'm good at designing UI, I'm bad at working with. And thank you, anchors. Anchors, where anchors? Alrighty. You're supposed to be... and you should expand. Yes. Thank you. So that will already make things looking a little bit better. Capture... never mind, it does kind of make it better, just not to the extent that I had hoped, because it's weird. Again, I like designing UI, and I do think the UI tools that Godot has are really powerful. It's just... you need to learn it. Hydrate. I literally just emptied my glass and I don't have anything left, so I'll be right back. Actually, how late is it? If it's ad time, we might run the ads now and then just... while we take... yeah, it's 8 minutes. We can take a quick break now and then I'll just get something to drink. We run ads, so Twitch is happy, and then we'll continue this. Sound like a plan? Alright. I mean, if it doesn't sound like a plan, you don't have a choice in the matter. I'm the streamer here. So yeah, I'll be right back. wrong scene. Oh my god, Z. 32 months, that's almost a year, I think. Maybe. I don't know how things work. Anyways, I'm back. Okay. So, I might need to tweak some more on the at the pub. It might be uppercase. I might want to use uppercase. But yeah, I might need to tweak how the... In general, I need to tweak how the UI looks at the end anyway, so it's not a big deal for me right now that it looks a bit odd, but I need to reformat it anyways. But what I am realizing is I need a scrolling container. Yeah, maybe. I see. Like, this needs to be a scrolling container. Oh no, not this needs to be a scrolling container. This needs to be a scrolling container. I don't understand how scrolling containers work yet. I'll figure that out. Anyway, it's not the point. I guess it technically needs to be a child of... yeah, you need a child node, which is a VBox container. Your scroll container now. I have decided. And you just get a scroll container, VBox container, and you can go. So basically I just moved it all a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if that honestly just wrecks the network. I would not be surprised. There's a hi, Ellen. How's it going? I'm trying to do a control menu badly. Why? Where? What? Yes, I think. Yeah, it just sucks. I might need to read more into scroll containers first. That's fine. That's a later problem. Um, he can also screw Hexen if he likes it. Um, anyways. Yeah, that does sound like a pain. I just... I'm currently working on um, this script here. It's mainly just... Oh, you can't see because of... Never mind. Okay, then let me explain. Uh, the thing I'm working on is basically an input map for my game, or any game, really. It's supposed to be agnostic to what I'm actually... like which game it's actually attached to, which is an important part. Because of that, the script manually adds each action in the input map from the project settings. So it doesn't care what the project settings are, it just reads them out and then just adds each action into a list for the menu. And then each of those actions has a list of events, which are basically just the inputs, like the button, actual button. But yeah, it's basically just that. Just a list of actions with the inputs attached. And it just automatically generates that. And we're already at the point where I can theoretically generate the actions. Like, each of the actions that just reads out of the project settings, and then what I need to do next is add, as a child, just each of the events of that. Which shouldn't be too difficult. The main thing is I need to add an icon and then uh, a label, I guess, for... So, I guess... I'm not sure the white nose was what a protogen is. Huh. Well, I'll leave it to chat. um. So this is going to be Event Manager. And now we find out if Event Manager is a... Action Manager is something that I haven't used yet. Is Event Manager a thing that... No. Perfect. Then I can just call this Event Manager and be done with it. You should probably also be a V-Box. Or scroll, but we'll figure that out. Where do we get to it? So. Event Manager. They do eat RAM, I've been told. So first, save the Event Manager as scene. Also in util, and then... Actually, it might go into settings, I'm not sure yet. Hide those icons for now. No. Probably better where it is right now. So. I'm sure I won't regret calling this event manager later, but we attach a script, event manager, and that goes into scripts. Scripts usually event manager. And I guess it extends VBox container. We'll change that if we need it anyways. And you again get a class name, event manager. Okay. Next, we need a list of events in the action manager, which is ironically the same thing we already did for the control menu, so same thing, different idea. Variable events is a list of event managers with a string name as the key. So far so good. I actually realized I should probably add the actions to the list. Yeah, I forgot that line in actions in the control menu. Just instead of volume sliders, it's actions equals, and not audio server boss name, but rather action and action manager. Which is a very elegant way to just save that. By assigning the action name to the I can't believe all the protogens ate RAM. I can't believe they ate all the RAM. Now we have RAM shot. Actually, the AI probably affected them equally. I can't believe AI took away the natural food source protogens. We need some environmental activism in here. That doesn't need to be saved there. It needs to be saved in the action manager. Here we go. Now on ready. Why not? Did I misspell it? Might have misspelled it. No. Maybe Godot is just having a moment. It happens sometimes. So. The action manager should probably actually know what its name is. Which is gonna be just a string name. Just as an extra way to access that, or an easier way to access that. There. And then I have it already in the control settings, so let's just grab it from here. Um, get events. So it's input map dot action get events. So what we are going to do is for event in action, not action manager, input map dot get events dot action get events for action. And then we basically just do the same thing we did for the action managers, just for the events again. So in action manager, instead of having action manager, we have event manager. You don't need to be indented. Yes, yes. I'll define VBox in a second. Actually, I don't need to define VBox. VBox is we are the VBox. And this needs to be event manager. That needs to be event manager. Action needs to be defined in a second. And events. And this needs to be event. That needs to be event. And that needs to be event. And you don't need to be an action manager, you need to be an event manager. And you need to be... what are you complaining about? Right, input event is... I'm just going to... That doesn't mean I can't use... I still am going to use this, but... I'm not going to define the VBox because we are the VBox. And... as text? Does that work? Okay, yeah, it does work. And then we need event manager dot icon. I'm referring to things I haven't even implemented yet, which is probably bad form, but yeah. Get event icon, a nebulous function that I haven't defined anywhere yet. I'm going to define it in global for now. I'll move it somewhere else later when I know where. So, what? Actually, I don't think I need to do that. I will define it here. Func get event icon. Actually, it should probably have an event. I'll figure out what it returns. later. Actually, it will return a string of some form. And that should probably be get event icon path then. So we know where our inputs are saved. So variable path equals, we start with this. Press // assets / inputs. That we know for sure we are. Then just load. At the end of this we are going to return path. There are things that happen in between that, but that's basically how this works. We have a path, then we add to that path where we need to be. Now we need to figure out some things about the input. If event dot okay. This all doesn't mean anything at the moment. I'm still defining this. So we need to find some properties of input events. So what we want to find out right now, for now we just want to find out, is it a controller or is it a keyboard? Or is it a mouse? But so for now we assume it's, yeah, pretty much. We know what the ID for a keyboard is, and we know what the device ID for a mouse is. We don't know this for long, because I'm pretty sure they actually added device IDs for keyboards, but no. So we can check against ID. That we can do. So if event.device is less than 16, we know that much. Less than 16 it is end. Greater equals, this needs to be less than, not. Greater equals 0. We know it's a controller. Dot. How do I add text to a string? String. How do I add text to a string? Is it just... Is it dedent? No. But that's also going to be useful later. I don't know why I thought it was going to be dedent. I should know what that does, but... Alright, I can just... I'm stupid, I can just add things to a string. So, plus equals... controller, and for now I'm just going to add the generic. Because currently I have no idea how to figure out what type of controller we have. And that's fine. I'll figure it out later. If event... Wait, if event dot device plus equals keyboard else path plus. This makes a lot of assumptions that I shouldn't actually make, but I'm just going to make them. You know what, whatever. This makes a lot of assumption that I technically shouldn't make. Namely the assumption that every device above 16 below and below 32 is a keyboard, and every device between after 32 is a mouse. That's an assumption that I technically do not have any proof for, but I'm just going to assume for now this is going to be how they handle device IDs for keyboards. And if it's not how they handle it, then I'll deal with that problem when we get to it. Sounds like a plan? Okay. Okay, we have the path now. So now, we make a new variable, which is event name. Name, not BAME. Event. I'm going to scream. Which is event dot as text, and this is going to give me something wrong, very wrong. So I want to know how wrong it is, so I'm going to print event name. I should maybe actually make the function a function if I want the function to function, and then we'll just path plus equals event name. Again, this is going to be wrong, very wrong, but it will give us something we can work with. So, what's going to happen is, it's going to give me the wrong name, and then I'll figure out how I need to adjust the name so it is what I actually want it to be. Because the way the names for the events look, right, is this, which exactly lich. Kind of, actually. If it's wrong, I'll figure out what it is, right? So I'll just run control menu. It will likely... Or it doesn't crash. I guess that's fine too. Uh, are you at least going to call the ready function, or? No? Well, that's inconvenient. That's not helpful. So, two questions. Why do you not know what your action is? You should know what your action is because I'm setting what your action is. I am specifically setting it. So there should be no reason you can't do that. Unless I don't understand something. Which is a possibility. But I thought if I did this correctly, it should have the name of the action. Oh. I understand the problem now. And it makes sense. It makes total sense. I'm just stupid, but problem is I don't know how to solve that. Okay, to explain what's happening here, it's actually very simple. This is when we set the action, like the name of the action, right? That's not when we call the ready function. We call the ready function at the end of this, because that's when it's ready. We're not doing anything else until it's ready. And because we don't set an action name until it's ready, it can. That's why we are only getting ready, because it doesn't have a name yet. Which is maybe fine? I feel like there should be an easy way to do that, but I don't know how. Can I instantiate something with... What does that mean? Does that mean I can only... This is only for debugging purposes. This might only be for your debugging purposes. Before that, the action... I can't define the action name because I can't tell it to the action manager if the action manager isn't. The action manager doesn't have an action before it's ready because that's just... It can't. It literally can't have it because that's part of being ready. However, what I can do... pass here. And make a new function called setup event managers. Void. And then we'll just do it later. Not a cleaner solution. I might want to figure out if there's a cleaner solution later down the line, but... But in theory, that should work. Oh, well, it will crash. Valid assignment of property or key. Oh, right. Wait, there are different type of input events? That might make things easier. Well, aren't I stupid? But I won't complain. A bit late addition to the conversation, but yes, correct. Okay, let me find the things I need and... I've put off working on the event manager for too long. I need to actually do the thing. Hbox. Then add child icon. Right. How would I call them? I guess texture rec, but... I'll probably need a button for that anyway, so... So let's create a button instead. So change button. And I guess instead of event icon, change button dot icon. That's a good question. I do not have an answer, but I would be curious to hear the answer. Okay. Actually, you should be a different type of button. You should be a menu button as well. So far so good. And then the event manager has, like the action manager, 2 children, which is, oh, not children. I mean, they are children, but that's not the point. They're already variables. They are event label. And change button. Okay. We need a variable. I don't need another dictionary. The dictionary. But we do need this. Event. Which is an input event. And I just realized instead of checking in Action Manager if it's the device ID, I can just, if event is input event joypad button, or event is input I guess joypad motion. Path plus equals controllers generic for now. I'll later make a way to figure out what kind of controller it is once I have any idea how I figure out what type of controller it is. L if event is input event, because we can actually specify what type of event it is. L if event is input event, because I forgot we can actually check if it's a child of something. Mouse. Path plus equals keyboard slash mouse. I guess you probably have 2 children. Input, yeah. But I don't need that. And that should figure out the basic path ideas we have. If we figure out something else, then we anyways have problems, so... Oops. Okay. And now in theory, if all of this works the way I wanted to, which... let's be real, it almost does. Actually, it works exactly how I wanted to. If you look at this, it tells us exactly the name of the input. A physical left, joypad motion on axis 0. Now, price question. How do I convert this into something usable? specifically usable for this format. We know what the we now know what the event names are. Now the question is, how do we remove things we don't need? For example, because putting it all to lowercase theoretically isn't that big of a deal. In fact, I don't know why you all are uppercase. But that's not the point right now. We need to achieve several things. You're seeing it down here. I have printed out the name of the events, right? So, for example, A physical is the A key on your keyboard. Left is the left key on your keyboard. Joypad motion on axis 0 is a bit more complicated, but that's moving your stick, like your left stick. Because axis 0 is the left stick, and specifically the left stick left or right. With -1 being left and +1 being right. And that's all information we're getting here. Which makes sense. That is the information I expect to get. Now what we want is to remove these parts. We just want A. We just want we just want... There are IDs for the events in the sense of, well, kind of those are the IDs, right? Joypad button 13, for example, that's D-pad left. Joypad button 14, that's D-pad right. We have those IDs. We just need to put them into a form where I can read a file name out of them. Because I don't want this part, for example, the D-pad right or D-pad left here, or the explanation what the left stick or the joystick 0 x-axis is, because that's not relevant for the file name. Something I'm telling the player maybe, but not. You know. Yeah. What we want specific. Okay. There are some here that are relatively easy. Like left straight up, we can just leave as is. That is straight up what it is. To lowercase. In fact, if I do it to lower, it would actually probably already show. And it does. Massively, but... that is the button we want. It's massive, but it is what we want in theory. And the scale we can fix later. Scale is boring. I also need to rename all of these. Mainly because I accidentally wrote some in uppercase and then others in lowercase. Yes! Calm down. You know, it's fine. I know what I'm doing. It's a bit upset because I'm just changing the casing and nothing else, but it will just have to suck it up. I'm sorry, Godot, but you'll just have to suck it up. But yeah, what we need to do is... I could, but I'm too lazy. I'm gonna be completely honest. And this is not that long that it's worth writing a script. But yeah, what we basically want is just to trim down the... Basically trim down the fat, right? Remove the stuff that we don't need. Make the name just be the bare minimum what we need to recognize it. Fun fact, by the way. Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. That happens when I'm capturing the game, like the running project, and close it because for some reason that's close enough that something I need to figure out how to fix. I have an idea, I just haven't done it yet. Yes, good. Well, that's new. I gotta admit, I didn't expect that. I think Godot is unhappy with what I just did. I think I'm just going to change it in the file manager real quick. Let me just fix that. You'll not see something for a short time. I'm sorry about that, but I want to fix that really quick. I don't know what happened there, by the way. It automatically saves, so I don't need to worry about that. Oh, in other words, no, I haven't saved recently, but that's because I have never saved a thing in Godot in my entire life. That's not how Godot works. Just like the way Godot edits files is directly in the file, like in the. Not quite. The way it works is it physically saves the project on the disk, like unencrypted and everything. That's just a project. So there's no. Weren't supposed to see that. But yeah, the thing is, all of these files are actual files on my PC, so they are saved when I'm editing them because. I mean, yes, it saves it when I generate it once. Lich, I'm not awake enough for this place. Anyways, I've renamed all of these. Okay, I should maybe. Yeah, you know, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I'm just going for a consistent scheme here. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's every time you see that pop up here, right? That loading bar, that's the program saving. They are capital because that's not a proper input event name. Those just happen to be in the pack, like the thing I bought. Or not bought, but got free assets. I've decided to capitalize things that aren't. Okay. I've decided to capitalize things that aren't proper inputs, but rather custom icons, like the left stick one, because the left stick isn't a custom. Like, I can't individually have the left stick without clicking it. Which clicking the left stick is its own icon. Joypad button 7 and 8. Yeah. That does sound rough. Like, I'm so sorry for what like I've listened to a lot of what you've been posting and the Leaf Gang and stuff about your work, and it sounds like a pain. It genuinely does. Oh, also on a more positive note, I don't think I actually wished you a happy birthday yesterday, so happy birthday. It was yesterday, right? I was so in class, so I kind of lost track of time. But if I remember correctly, that was a thing. Okay. Now that we changed all of that. Let me run this again, just so I get the printout again. Um, so, now they're all lowercase, which is good. Um, so, first of all, if we have something like this, where there's a minus? What is this called again? A dash? Ironically, I have that button in my keyboard, like in my keyboard icons, so I should know what it's called. But is that just minus or is it just minus? Remove the minus and everything after the minus. No, it's not an underscore specifically. This is a minus, and that's the important part. We can remove everything that is after a minus. In theory, anyways. I'm going to print the event name before rather than after, so I know what I need to remove afterwards there. So. How do we find? How do we find the... Contains what? What's the difference between contains and contains it? Ignoring case. Okay. Find n. Okay, we need to find. So. Dot. Find. Hyphen, yes, that's the word. Ads are about to run, so I'm going to take a quick break actually. I'll be right back, but I think I've got an idea of what we're doing. Stretch, you say. I should stretch. I haven't stretched in a while. Thank you. Okay. We can find the hyphen, which is good. Because that means we can find the first hyphen, so we can remove everything that is this, basically. What we might want to find is specifically the phrase motion on. Because if it contains motion on, it means it's an access, so we can remove the motion on, and we need to figure out what the motion is, but then I mean, I could look for access, but I can also just immediately remove the motion on then. But I guess you're right. I can look for access, but yeah, first, how do I remove something? This gives me an integer. So I guess remove. Okay, I know what we need to do. We just okay. If name dot contains. I'm just doing this so we don't accidentally remove more than we need to. Event name dot. I don't know what the function is going to be, but we can find that out. String. I could substring, but I feel like I can just. What does right do? I see. That's gonna be really useful later down the line, because good to know. It might just be substring. Yeah, let's just do substring. So from 0 to. There might be a better way to do it, but it doesn't matter. Substring. Event name with underscore. That's substring, and we need 0. That's an O. 0 and event name -1. I think it's -1, so we also remove that. And then we print event name again. We're just gonna fill up the output, but I don't care at this point. So. Oh, I need to event name equals event name dot substring event. Okay. I forget the underscore every time. Okay, let's try this again. You don't actually need to see what I'm doing right now, so. But if we look at this, we have W all of a sudden. Which doesn't mean we should have more icons here now. Yeah, we have the A icon, which is massive, but again, we can change that. We can figure that out later. We can trim everything in between brackets. So we basically just do the same thing, but with brackets. Problem. Please do elaborate. I think I know what you're going to point out, but please go on anyways. I am losing the... Yes, that is correct. Which is why before doing both of these, I'm going to do something else. Which I will elaborate on in a sec, but... Also, I just realized that... Wait, no, never mind. I am aware of this, which is why we are going to do a separate thing. I know what I'm going to do for that. I just need to put it into thoughts. But first we'll do this just to see how that looks. Perfect. So. Now. This is going to be an elif. If event name dot contains axis. We check the last 4. Direction. I need a variable. Event name dot last. How do I find the last? I knew I could find it, so properties. This is input event, never mind. String. String. Efforts. We want to find the last four. The last four symbols, right? Actually, we just want to find... What the fuck is kebab case? So we get the value. 5, it's 5. I forgot the dot. Like the period, but... You're right. So, trim suffix. Actually, not trim suffix. But get... I know there was a way, I just need to find it again. Right. Right, it's right. So... Maybe, I don't know. Select would probably know, but I don't. And I'm currently not in... right... 5. And then we just want... If the value contains minus, we add at the after the axis, which okay, before we do this, replace motion on with an empty string. That should work, right? That's how the replace works. String, string, string. Replaces all occurrences of that string with... Okay, that works. So we just replace motion on with nothing because that's a redundant phrase. And then we find can I? Okay. Dot insert. Okay, I can insert. Event name dot find access does it find the beginning of the string is going to be actually it's going to be this. And now the price question. Where does it find? What does it find? Because we know it finds, but where does it find? Like, what is the thing it returns? So I assume it's going to give me the first letter. So axis. So I want that plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. And that should in theory work. And then if it doesn't contain a minus, we're just doing the opposite. We insert a plus. And then we remove the rest. But that's not the relevant part. So. That's just me being stupid. It did not work. Let's just try inserting it in random spots and see what we find. That doesn't work. So, why does it not work? Does it not find access, or... It doesn't find access, we know it doesn't, because... Which raises the question, why does it not find access? Maybe? I just want to see if this is even running at any point. It is. So. That works. This doesn't. Why not? What if I can replace it with an empty string? That didn't do anything. Okay. Is remove a function in string. Just remove. Ah. No. But remove characters does exist. So let's go with remove characters. I don't know why I spelled out characters, but that's just me being stupid. That happens. It just does not. It just doesn't. Just something I'll recognize. Does it actually? Okay, it does actually. Okay. But if you do recognize this, why are you not running this? Because I'm stupid! Actually... Okay, to be fair, I feel like when I call remove, it should actually physically remove those from the string. I get why it doesn't, but... Okay, so I'm just stupid. That's good. That's fixable. That being said... You know what? I can't even complain. You're right. I did forget to save it. I don't quite understand what it's doing here. So... an insert might just not be the right function for this, to be fair. For some reason it kind of just removes the O and I. Which I don't understand why it does that. So... let's figure this out one step at a time. What does insert do? Actually, before we do that, let's just see how that looks at the end of it. Fine. Replace with an empty string. It should work now that I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But you're probably correct. Yeah, you're correct. And then we can just throw this in again because now it works. Thank you. I am slightly stupid. Actually, it's not stupid. I assumed the function worked differently than it did, but that's not really stupidity. That's just... that just happens. One more. 6. Which makes absolutely no sense, but... yes. That's perfect, actually. That's exactly what we want. Because now what we can just do is, at the end of all of this, event name equals event name dot replace every string, like every space, with an underscore. And now the event name should be I think we got it. I think that should be working. I cannot tell because I cannot scroll this list because I'm an idiot. So let's scale down the... let's scale down the... icon. Button.icon. Hang on. Icon. Texture, let me just... Actually, I can... Is a texture 2D, which has... Just a texture, which doesn't help me, so let's go back to texture 2D. It might just... Okay, nope, that's not it. Object... Also no. I just want to change the height. I don't want to get it, I want to change it. I guess image texture. Yeah. I guess set size override. And just hope it works. Set size override, which I from just go with 16 by 16. We can go from there. That's the wrong place. Let's try this again. Okay, there's a compressed texture 2D. That's something I can work with. Texture 2D, compressed. Well, I'm running out of ideas on how to change it, so... You'd think it'd be easier. Maybe I can change the button, but... Yeah, maybe I can change the little button. But... I'm not sure if I have the brain power to do that right now, so... I think I'm just going to call it good for today and then just figure the rest out over the next few days. I'll probably stream again on Friday, but... I'm not sure yet. Either way, I'm not getting arrows anymore, so we can assume the textures are loading. However they are going to look, they are probably loading. Which is good. It is progress, yes. We basically have the basic structure now. I just need to figure out how to do UI stuff, which... And most importantly, we have actually figured out the name. I might actually want to make this a global function, thinking about it. For one simple reason, I might use it more, right? For example, if I want to have a pop-up show up, and I want to get that icon. So it's probably better if it's a global thing. And then I need to document my code at some point, but... But the advantage of that is obviously just that whenever I need the icon for anything, I can just dig it out. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And I think that's... Okay, I think we're back. That was a well-timed disconnect. Yeah, as I was saying, I haven't done this in a while, and I'm glad that I'm back. Hopefully I'm back for good for now, until I know if I'm accepted to the college anyways, and whenever that starts. But then I'll probably just change my schedule. So yeah, yeah, Twitch, and more importantly, my own connection is suggesting I'm finding someone to raid. So let us do that, shall we? Who is live that we can raid? Is anyone from the Leaf Gang live? Doesn't really look like it. Afraid. I agree, it's kind of weird. Twitch has been weird lately. You know what? Let's just let's raid Aculine. She's doing Elden Ring. Stretch. I can stretch while we raid. Hydrate. I can also hydrate. Although I do need to pee. I will be completely honest about that. I'll be back on Friday, probably. Maybe. I know French has planned something for Friday, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just do something separate. Maybe I'll do something with French. We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what I'm going to do on Friday, but we'll figure it out. Raid message, I guess, is going to just be, I remembered how to do this. Maybe I should add last. I actually really like that. Use whatever raid emote you like. I'm going to use mine. And I'll be back when I'm back. Either way. So yeah, bye.